Excellent. And again, welcome to the Evening of Gratitude. Please keep your microphones on mute. If you can mute them right now, that would be great. And feel free to change your view to speaker view if that makes it easier to see the speakers in the presentations. That's completely up to you if you'd like to. After tonight's presentation, you're welcome to stay online and ask any questions of our board or staff or just mingle like we were doing since it's been a long time since we've seen each other. And really, tonight is a thank you to you. It's really all about you and each of you. And we really just could not have gotten through this past year without your incredible support. So tonight is for you, and it's a huge thank you to you and to let you know what your support has enabled us to do over this past incredibly crazy year. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Cambridge Trust, for their absolutely amazing support and continued support of Krempels Center and our programs. And I'm really excited that Dan and Pam Morrison are here tonight. And Dan is going to be speaking. Dan is the CEO of Cambridge Trust, New Hampshire, and I'm truly honored to introduce him to you now as our first speaker.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep this short. I'm really just here to say Cambridge Trust is very proud to be a longtime supporter of Krempels Center, and I'm here in spirit of the evening of gratitude to say thank you to you, to Krempels Center, for all the great work that you do. Becky, Lisa, and all the rest of the staff. You are amazing people, and Pam and I have enjoyed coming to this event. It's a little different seeing it on little boxes on the screen rather than being there at the community campus. But we've enjoyed the program every year for I don't know how many years. Always a powerful story and some amazing people. So again, thank you to Krempels Center and all of the staff, and thank you to all of the supporters out there that continue to help make this possible. So Becky, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's truly great to see you both. And really, I can't tell you how much it means to us that you have been sponsoring this event for many, many, many years and sponsoring Krempels Center in general, especially in our times of complete chaos. So thank you so much for being here tonight and for your continued support. And now,
Becky,
yes,
interrupt for a second. I'm
absolutely.
wondering if we could, as a community, we're used to both in person and on Zoom when we run our program. One of the ways that we express appreciation, gratitude is with the sign language for clapping, which is this. And since we're all on mute, I'm wondering if we can just incorporate that right in, because many of the folks already know that and want to do that. And I wanted to say that for what Dan had to say, and glad to have you guys here.
Thank you very much. And like Lisa was saying, we are very, very, very grateful. And especially I'm grateful that our board chair, Jamie Joyce, is here tonight. And he's going to be sharing with you a look at this past year and all that it held. So while Jamie's coming up, I'm going to be sharing my screen so that you can also see a slideshow. So go ahead, Jamie.
Thank you so much, Becky. And thank you everyone for being with us tonight. Wow, 2020, what a ride. So I don't think there's any organization or anyone who is personally not touched by the events of 2020. And just want to go back and give you a recap of what 2020 meant for the Krempels Center. It began, like many other years in Krempels Center, if we go back to January 2020, our members were participating in groups at the community campus. And that is what Krempels Center is known for, creating a sense of community and a safe place with very professional staff for our members. In February, we began to hear this undercurrent about something called COVID-19. And in just a few weeks, everything changed. On Friday, March 13th, which was the last day of programming before the week's closure for our spring interns were on break, turned out to be the last day of our programming on campus. That following Monday, staff began collecting what they needed from the office to work from home and anticipated, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We're just gonna be out of the office for a few weeks and it's gonna blow over, right? Well, the program knew that our health vulnerable population would not be able to congregate in person for a while. And though we never could have predicted how long it was going to be, they very swiftly went into high gear during the week of spring break to learn how to provide our programming virtually, develop an online program and a platform that would mirror our in-person services. They then reached out to all of our members about the transition to virtual. And Thursday and Friday of that week, they trialed it with some of our members. And the following Monday, Krempels Center was back up and running online without missing a single programming day. It's truly an amazing feat by the wonderful staff that we have here at Krempels Center. The next few months were very intense. The program staff connected with every active member, explained the new platform, helped out those in understanding and navigating it that needed it, and helping them access our virtual programming on whatever device possible, whether it be a computer, a tablet, a phone, whatever members had to be able to access, walk them through it to make sure that they could. Well, meanwhile, the development staff had 7 weeks to unravel the work put into preparing for a 2,000-person road race and virtual event from scratch, because we found out that the road race was now going to be a virtual event. And all this was going on while the staff were looking to address the pandemic on personal terms as well. Those with children dealing with now being teachers at home, as well as working your jobs and worrying about the health and welfare of your family. But in true Krempels Center fashion, not only did they pull off an incredible transformation of programming, but they shined at doing it. They logged on, tried out this new virtual environment. Several called fellow members to check in on them and encouraging them to try out the new groups, keeping everybody engaged, and acknowledging that change is hard, but the support of the community and of the peers at Krempels Center provided some incredible strength and power for the members. And this truly is the heart and the magic of Krempels Center and what it means to be part of this community. And it's what held us together through these very long months that what we thought was only going to be a few weeks turned out to be well over a year. For those who were unable to participate on the online programming, the staff regularly checked in with them just to make sure that they stayed connected in some fashion. And as the pandemic headed towards the fall and the number of cases continued to grow, the plans to return to campus were waylaid. And our partner departments at UNH were ready to support our virtual services with a new group of interns in September. We had a great Halloween party. And this is noteworthy because for the first time, we have a class of interns who have never actually met our members in person. And yet the groups were very successful and the interns felt very fulfilled by the programming. And this did not escape the notice of the staff or the board. And excuse me, I'm just losing my place in my notes here. On the development side, the virtual road race at the end of May was a huge success. It was dubbed a 5K your way. It was held over 8 days. And we proved that the connection to the mission of Krempels Center was very strong based on the participation that we had seen. People really came forward in the organization's time of need. We had new participation for people signing up for the very first time. And the flexible format of the event allowed people to participate on their terms. And it wasn't time dependent for a very set window of time. Also, many of our members were able to participate in the event in a meaningful way for them, which is something because of the format they were able to do. This was a very successful event for us from a fundraising perspective, and it far surpassed our expectations. And a new idea was born. The 10th annual King Challenge last October was also held virtually. And again, it's the choose your own challenge. And our passionate and supportive community of cyclists rose to the occasion as they did for the road race. Encouraged friends to join in, and our members were creative in how they could participate in this event and support one another in their accomplishments and their personal challenge in doing so. One member even challenged himself to write a short story and share it with the community. Another walked 3 5Ks, as we see here. And I'm proud to say that this virtual fundraiser was also incredibly successful. And we could see that the participation it's something that we can incorporate in the future. This virtual participation gave us a new model for that. So to that point, our annual breakfast for brain injury was also a virtual event. We still had an incredible turnout of support. Many of you joining us now were also part of that and donating to help fund our programs. And starting last fall, we began discussing the future of virtual programming for our members and if this had a place ongoing in Krempels Center long-term. In January of this year, we worked with a facilitator to help us craft a new strategic plan for Krempels Center. This was originally slated for early 2020, but as the pandemic did for many other things, it put this process on hold. But this turned out to be to our advantage. As by this past January, we had discovered many silver linings. As the pandemic has done in many aspects of our lives, there was a silver lining for Krempels as well. And the board and staff were able to integrate everything we learned from the pandemic and preparing and adapting to it in our strategic planning process. You'll hear more about that in a few minutes from Renee Kuchar, our executive director. And yes, she's going by her middle name now. So we're all getting used to calling her Renee rather than Lisa, as you know her. Before we get to that, I want to introduce you to a video by one of our members, Wendy. Wendy participated in both the in-person programming as well as the virtual programming and gives us some very valuable perspective on what that was for her.
Hi, my name is Wendy Chapley, and I've been a member at the Krempels Center for probably about 5 years. And in 2014, I had a hemorrhagic stroke, and I was left with a deficit on my right side, and I've been trying to recover from that. And I became a member because I was asked through other people that I knew, said, hey, there's a program. And I went and I said, there's nothing else. I need help. And so that's where I ended up, was at the Krempels Center. I've been, a member there long enough, so I remember what it was like to be in-house, and now we're virtual, and there's two separate things going on, but it's a very supportive in both ways. I never could attend that often. I had many problems with trying to get rides and to allocate my days to going, because it was a commitment of a full day. And I certainly like the interaction with other members that is different than virtual. There's something that goes on that all of us can talk freely, and then when you go to virtual, you're on a screen and it's like talking to your TV, but it's nice. I like virtual, and that's and I certainly would continue doing virtual if I can. And it presents virtual meetings. I know it's hard for the people that put it on. The staff members work hard, and everyone certainly puts in a lot of effort. And I think the members certainly have benefited from it. And I think during the time of COVID and lockdown, it was very nice because it was a little, help. And, it was like hopeful that things would be different. And then you meet all the people on the screen, and then you're like, oh, yes, this will be better tomorrow. But, that's what I wanted to relay to everybody, that it was the support that people have given to the Krempels Center, and, the staff members, and certainly all the members appreciated that. And I think, it gave everybody something to look forward to. And, when you're in an empty house, it's nice to have, a few people come out and say, oh yeah, today is today. What are we doing today? And you get to hear everybody's story. So that's where I would like to say thank you to the Krempels Center and all the staff and people that support the Krempels Center. Thank you.
Right? Yeah. Thank you, Wendy. She's here tonight. I'm so excited that she's here, and I cannot thank you enough for being so wonderful, for recording that and telling us your story. Thank you. And I know David Krempels wanted to be here. David and Mary Krempels wanted to be here as well, but they are currently celebrating David's father's 101st birthday. So he sends his gratitude and he wishes he could be here, but we know he's here in spirit. And now I'm also excited to introduce to you another member and great friend of ours, Don and Diane Heselton, to tell us their story and their experience. You have to unmute yourselves if you guys are on mute.
Yeah, that would make it easier.
Sorry.
I'm Don Heselton. My wife Diane's here. I've been here a member for Krempels for 4 or 5 years, and I love going there. And it's just a wonderful place to go. I really didn't want to go to Krempels when I first went there, and but that was for me. I needed to kind of get over the stigma of needing to be there. But once I started to come, it's absolutely wonderful. The people that you get to meet, make new friends is what you get, and it's wonderful. I mean, the programs there are awesome. They're right on as far as what we need help with, the cognitive skills, learning to cope, the days that you have, moment to moment, how to better deal with people in the community. So to be there physically at the campus was a great thing, and to me that was the way that it worked out well for me. To not see folks, day to day, week to week was a challenge for me. I enjoy seeing people, shaking hands, just being able to talk to a face. I periodically check in with my own family, just to see how they're doing, get out and visit once in a while. And I think that we end up doing that just with Krempels and my members and the staff that are there. I get to see the interns that are there, and thank you to UNH and or the interns that get to come. They help run the programs, and it's a super opportunity that they can come and help us as well as their own goals. What's that? Yeah. So that's kind of where I was at with the being physically located at the campus up in Portsmouth. And then, as we all know, the COVID situation came, and as it was mentioned earlier, maybe it was Dan that had said that the Krempels had to adjust from a face-to-face, not a face-to-face, a person-to-person time to a video-only situation like we have, well, today, as a matter of fact. And for me, that was a change that was, well, it was good because we could reach out to folks that can't come all the time. There were some members that were only there 1 day a week, some only a couple of weeks. They would come and visit. Thankfully, I'm close by, and I could get to Portsmouth pretty regularly. But it was good. It's good to be online because you get to communicate to folks that you wouldn't see otherwise. We can reach out to people that aren't in the area. We have one of our members that goes to Florida for the season. They're down, so we wouldn't see him the whole time. A different program, we had a woman that we knew who lived in Connecticut, and we get to talk with her. So in the Zoom situation, when we can see people that we would not be able to talk to otherwise, and so that gives us an opportunity to stay connected to share how our lives are, as different as they may be with COVID. And yeah, it's I don't know, it's just different. And I am looking forward to when we'll be able to come back to campus and see our friends and family again. And so that'll be a good change again for us. And so I'm looking forward to the time when we get to do that again. And so I want to reach out and thank all of our supporters and staff and the interns that help us put on these programs, and the staff like Becky. And we see these other staff people that we don't get to see day to day usually, and so thank you all as well. So I don't know what else to say. So thank you.
Hi.
Thanks, Don. Thank you so much. Renee?
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if Diane was talking, so I was kind of pausing to see what was happening. Well, before I start, I just wanted to really thank Don and Diane, because they basically, we had a member who was going to speak, and he actually had something come up and couldn't, and just this afternoon, Don agreed to. So thank you, Don, for helping us out in this way and sharing your story with everyone with no time to prepare, but your words are really meaningful to us. So much gratitude for that.
Diane wants to say something, I
Okay.
think. You're muted. Diane,
We can't
you're
hear
muted.
you.
Oh, okay.
Are we all good?
Sorry.
Yes. Okay. I just have to thank everyone from a caregiver point of view. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine COVID this year without the opportunity to have gotten to. I did notice this year that his cognitive ability to carry on a conversation definitely took a dive from being able to be like at lunch with people or just casual conversation. It made a huge difference, but without even the virtual, he would have had such a setback. It's unbelievable. And the one good silver lining that Jamie mentioned was, as a caregiver, there's a caregiver support group through Krempels, but I never participated. I have to say selfishly, it was at a time when he was at Krempels, so to drop him off and then stay there and visit with people for an hour, I had better things I could do with that hour, which sounds really horrible, but I have to be honest. And other people had said that too. So the silver lining was we started to do the group virtually, and that has just blossomed. And it has been such a blessing. We get together still once a month, the first Monday of the month in the morning, but it is wonderful to just sit there and to be able to share with others. We may not even discuss a big subject or get into, changing the world, but it's just to know that other people out there get it. We have wonderful friends, we have a wonderful community, but there's just something about getting together with the Krempels member caregivers. And Dawn and I have also taken part in some of the Brain Injury Association support groups that have been showing on Zoom. And that's another unbelievable blessing that we've met other people throughout the state. And we've realized what we've taken for granted by having the Krempels Center, that people up in Berlin and people out Washington, Keene, they don't have anything like this. And to hear the void that they have of trying to connect with people or trying to have something that challenges the brains that have been so damaged. We have a tiny state, but it's pretty big when you're talking about the opportunities that we have at Krempels versus what just 2 hours away don't have. So by going virtual, as Dawn spoke, we've talked to a few people. We had Kelly come and talk to one of the groups, and one of the members of that group, she lives in Connecticut, and she joined up with Krempels last week, and it was so fun to see her just light up to see the opportunity that she had outside of her living room or in her living room. So that's my little plug. And we're also starting to try to get together a caregivers group for the whole state, because we found that this is such a needy thing. I've been working together with the BIANH, and we're hoping to get something like that set up in the fall. So when everybody's been so negative, COVID negative, we have found that there's some really good coming out of this, and we're so appreciative and so grateful, all of you, for not only your financial situation, but the dedication you've put into this program. That's it. Take it away, Renee. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. What a nice addition. Thank you for mentioning the caregiver support, the virtual caregiver support group. We're so glad to have started that. Another silver lining, as you said. So thank the two of you and Wendy. Wendy, your video was awesome, and thank you for joining us too tonight. And Jamie as well, and Dan and Pam as well for being part, supporting us and being part of the event. So as Jamie mentioned earlier, and as we all know, this year was really unlike any other, and I don't think any of us on our board or staff have ever worked harder knowing what was at stake, or have ever been so inspired by the resilience of our members. In the early months of the pandemic, our members told us that it felt a lot like the beginning of living with their brain injury, the same sense of feeling isolated, unsure of what to do next, and unable to get out in the community. So, Jamie had talked about the strategic planning process that was funded in part by a grant from Bangor Savings Bank. That process has been incredibly intense, but in a really good way. There's so much passion and vision across the board and the staff for the future of the organization. We really feel buoyed from the strong financial support of our generous donors, as well as our corporate partners like Cambridge Trust and Roz, the Brook, that helped us to continue on through the pandemic without interruption. And we felt a sense of duty to ensure that Krempels Center's future was not only secure, but stronger than ever and able to expand. We now know that our members, when they are unable to gather with their peers or participate in programming at the campus, felt connected and meaningfully engaged in our virtual program, as you just heard. But we have a responsibility now as we prepare to phase back into our program at the campus to our members and to our donors to not guess as to the impact of our virtual program. So to that end, I am thrilled to announce that Barb Kresge, our outgoing program director, has accepted a position as the Director of Strategic Program Initiatives to help us look toward the future of serving brain injury survivors on a virtual platform. She'll help determine through rigorous evaluation and research process whether and how the quality of life impact of our virtual program is as effective as our campus-based program on brain injury survivors. And if you are wondering who is stepping into Barb's shoes, so happy to share with you that we've hired Heather Gilbert as our new program director. She's a licensed occupational therapist, an experienced leader and program manager, and most importantly, a former master's level intern with Krempels Center. She started her new role with us just yesterday, and we're really grateful that she's here and she's with us tonight as well. So getting back to the strategic plan, in addition to growing our program, we're focusing on building brand awareness and marketing our program, building and strengthening our fundraising to support organizational growth, and ensuring that our amazing team of professionals is well prepared to flourish in the face of the challenges of tomorrow with the training, technology, and infrastructure we need. So we've spent 21 years focused on the delivery of a unique and extraordinary program, and we are experts at what we do and how we do it. Now's the time to look at bringing that expertise to a wider audience and investing in the future of the center. And we are ready. In July, we'll be offering our program at the community campus once again, phasing in the number of days of in-person while continuing to offer virtual programming. Then by September, we'll be fully reopened at the campus, And we will be offering an additional day of programming virtually, and that will be under Barb's leadership. So that's an awful lot about us when tonight's event is really about thanking you. But I wanted to have a backstory, share the backstory with you so you understood just what your support means. Without a doubt, we've depended on each and every one of you to get us through this past year and the past 21 years. And we couldn't be more grateful for your unwavering dedication. So thank you for being there for us in whatever role you play as a board member, an intern involved in the 5K road race, the King Challenge, as a volunteer, as a donor, as a staff member. We thank and virtually embrace all of you and want you to know that we are so incredibly grateful for you. And a special thank you to all of our donors, in particular, as you provide vital gas in our tank. And your gift really does change lives, as Wendy and Dawn and Diane spoke to you about. And we want you to really know the impact of that. So your belief in our mission is taken to heart. And we thank you so very much. So while this event is coming to a close, some of us on the staff and board will be staying on. And so for those of you who want to stay on and would like to say hello, ask questions or chat. So in wrapping up, I want to say thanks again to our sponsor, Cambridge Trust, and thanks to all of you for your wonderful support.
Thank you. Thank you so much.